Hey, what is up, gamers? So, my apologies. I have not posted a full-length video in quite some time because, well, life's been busy. But I'm happy to announce that one of the things that life has been busy with recently is that my wife and I finally got a chance to go to Super Nintendo World down in Universal Studios Hollywood. It was all part of a long road trip we were taking throughout the California coast. We finally got to take enough time off to go down there, and it did not disappoint. It was everything we thought it would be and so much more. It was kind of funny because it was, you could tell it was targeted towards families and children and, people that have a younger age, but you could see on the grin of every single grown-up or adult was there. They could be, you see them reliving their childhood, all the nostalgia from the 80s and 90s, and all the great awesomeness that is a part of the Super Nintendo world that we got to experience. There are so many things that we did that were so much fun. We ended up spending pretty much the whole day there. We came out of Super Nintendo World a few times to go to other parts of the park, but we spent the vast majority of our time in there. And throughout the course of this, we came across a few things that we learned that we thought would be really important to share with you all, just in case you're planning a trip there, in case you're wanting to play the virtual game that they have, and of course to help make your trip as smooth as it possibly can be. So what we wanted to do was share not only video and images from our trip and just share how awesome of an experience it really was, but also give pro tips to the kind of tips that we wish we would have had before we went. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Also like and ring the bell for future notifications, so as soon as videos like this drop, you can be the first to be aware of it. Also too, make sure to use that comment section. So let us know what you liked. Let us know if we were missing out on any of the pro tips that you'd want to hear about. We're really happy to answer that in potentially future videos. So without further ado, sit back and relax and watch the summary of our trip along with some valuable pro tips that'll help you on your trip. All right, so before we actually get into our inside the park experience, along with pro tips that are designed to help guide you and maximize your experience within Super Nintendo World, we thought we'd share the number one pro tip that we wish we would have known ahead of time, and that's to come prepared. Yeah, it may seem simple, like, hey, this is what you would normally do anyways for any type of major theme park or amusement type of park experience that you would go to. But part of that is making sure that you come prepared with hats, sunglasses, and even sunscreen. For someone who's as fair as I am, I absolutely got roasted there because there's not a whole lot of shade. In fact, the only places where there really are shade are within the gift store, as you're waiting for certain parts of the rides or mini games, and even as you go through to the bathroom area. Like, it was kind of insane because there were people throughout the day, especially in the late afternoon, because we went on a day where it was in the late 80s and low 90s the whole entire day and super sunny, as is the case for LA, during the August and September months. There were people that were even waiting outside of the restroom or the gift shop area just trying to catch some of that shade because that's how hot it was. So come prepared, knowing that in mind. Also too, if you are at like a dollar store or some type of large retail media box network, make sure that you're picking up, or if you have access to those little hand fans, like some of them even like spit out water. I saw a bunch of families with those and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. It would almost be a great opportunity if Super Nintendo World had like, Super Mario Brothers themed versions of that. People would buy those for $20 easily, especially on a hot day like what we experienced when we went not too long ago. So that's the first thing. Come prepared for the weather and the climate that's going to be within that area. Number two, make sure that you do all the things ahead of time, and we wish we would have done this, that you can do before you get into the actual Super Nintendo world, that you can do at home, so you're not wasting time as soon as you get in to the park and wondering like, what do I do next, or how do I do this? Like, you can do a lot of stuff ahead of time. So download the Universal Hollywood Studios app ahead of time. That'll allow you to play the virtual Super Nintendo World game. Also buy, if you can, the virtual game slap bracelet ahead of time. You can pick from all different versions of your favorite Super Mario Brothers character. I ended up going with Yoshi. My wife ended up going with Toad. We bought those as we were going into the park, and we also downloaded the app as we were going into the park. We had to do all that stuff just on the fly. And while it's relatively simple, it's like registration for anything, right? Like your first, last name, and email address. But then for the actual wristband, what you have to do is you have to scan the QR code on the back to connect it to your app. But you probably could have done that all before you even entered the park. So that's something I wish we would have done ahead of time and which we would have known about. The third part of that is third part of becoming prepared is making sure that as you go into the park, you kind of know where you should go first and what you should be doing if you want to maximize the amount of coins that you want to have in the virtual game. Yeah, sure, maybe you're not competitive. Maybe, you just want to casually go throughout the park, but just in case you have that competitive bug, which is something that me and my wife definitely have, we didn't really know how the coin system worked or where to go for the most amount of coins or even what we should do first. But before you even start thinking about the coin system or how you can start to maximize your return on coins for all of the various things you do, you need to put in a reservation at the Toadstool Cafe. That should be absolutely the first thing you do. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because we actually got into the park. We weren't able to do any of the early entry stuff, unfortunately, because it's sold out. That's another thing. Make sure you do that if you have a chance. So it would 100% be worth it. And I'll go into that right after I finish this current thought. But as you're going through Super Nintendo World, you're going to want to go immediately in and experience everything around you, but make sure you put in a reservation as quickly as you can at the Toadstool Cafe. And the reason why I'm saying that is because they go like lightning. So there are people literally waiting as soon as it opens just to put in their reservation. So have that link ready. I can share it with you. I don't think they changed the link. I'm guessing they don't, but I can share that link with you in the comment section and below this video to make sure that you're all ready to rock on your smartphone. So do that immediately. There'll also be a QR code that you can scan on Toadstool Cafe to take you to that same website. But as soon as that becomes available in the morning, make sure that you set in your reservation to eat, because otherwise the only real food options around in the park are just bags of chips and vastly overpriced soda products and water products. So I guess you could just snack on that all day, but I'm guessing also if you're bringing kids or an extended family, you're going to want to have them, be able to experience what Toadstool Cafe has to offer, because it's pretty awesome. And also you're probably going to want to feed them more than just chips and soda, right? So make sure you do that. If you don't get in right away, if the reservations in the morning become absolutely maxed out, you can then have to wait until noon, at least we did when we went, to then start putting your reservations. So as soon as if you aren't able to get in the morning, make sure as soon as noon hits that you're on that link. You're trying to get that reservation as soon as possible, because we want to make sure we're setting you up for success. We completely missed the morning potential for lunch, so we ended up only being able to get in and get a reservation in at the Toadstool Cafe at 3:00. So we literally didn't eat anything all day. We were going around in the hot sun without really just sunglasses and hats, but we wish we would have brought sunscreen. We wish we would have had a fan mister, and throughout the whole process, we were thinking I think we would have been a little bit more, streamlined the next time we do this. So that's why we're sharing all this with you guys today. We want to make sure that you're set up for success. So come prepared, right? Number one. So bring the necessary items that allow you to really be comfortable in a hotter, humid, and sun-packed environments. Also, make sure that you get that reservation into Toadstool Cafe. And then third, if you can, make sure that you try to get that early pass. Yes, it's 100% worth it, because, and this is where I'll go into a little bit more detail on that. You want to pay the extra money to do the early access, because you get it an hour earlier. And you don't have to wait in lines for all the mini games in order to collect your 3 keys in order to face Bowser Jr. And you don't have to wait in line to do all the various different things that normally would take you sometimes 30 minutes, 45 minutes to do. So sometimes for the mini games, you really do have to wait in that scorching sun. I promise I can talk today. That scorching sun in order to just get one of the 3 keys in order to face Bowser Jr. And trust me, you want to face Bowser Jr. So it's not just a great way to earn coins, but it's a part of the overall experience as well. So come prepared. Pro tip number 1. Our trip to Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Hollywood was a completely unforgettable experience. It was exactly what we had hoped it to be and exactly what we wanted it to be. We saw all the advertisements, we saw all the PR, all these super exciting like intro and even a lot of initial videos that we were able to find online, and it did not disappoint. So even as we crossed over, and went through that very first warp tunnel, we were blown away by the level of attention to detail and really the type of environment, the people and the creative genius that they use to really put you in a kind of environment where you're about to embark on a journey of tremendous proportions. Now, just looking around and stepping foot into Super Nintendo World is its own feat all by itself. The first thing you're going to want to do is take videos, take photos literally everywhere, especially if you're like me and you just love retro video games, obviously. So this is something that's great for both parents that grew up during this time playing video games, they're trying to introduce their kids to it, as well as the kids that also like to play the newer video games today. So, but the one thing that we suggest you do as soon as you enter the land, go over to Toadstool Cafe, scan the QR code, and try to get on the waiting list and then eventually a reservation in order to be able to eat that day. You want to make sure you're setting yourself up for success here. We weren't able to do that in time because there's literally people waiting to do that as soon as they come in. So we had to wait until 3 o'clock when we were finally able to get a reservation later on that day. So if you're not able to get a reservation early in the morning, you're going to have to wait until noon, or at least we did, to try to get that reservation in. So the next pro tip we're going to give you is that you're going to have a bracelet in which you're trying to collect coins in order to be ranked in the virtual game if you want to play that. We highly suggest you do it because it's a lot of fun. Literally anywhere you see a coin box or anything with the Mario logo, there's a little circular placard and with a little M in the middle. You're going to want to hit your slap bracelet onto that exactly as I'm doing here in order to get those coins. And a little pro tip additionally here is that every time that you hit it, you're still getting the coins for it, even if the sounds aren't happening. So even if you're not hearing the coin sounds, you're still getting those coins. I tested this a few times and I realized that hey, let's just keep on hitting those coin boxes. An additional pro tip to that as well is that if you're waiting in line, let's say there's 2 of you, and you're waiting for 30, 45 minutes like we were here for the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, which is an amazing, fun, pretty much our favorite thing that we were doing that day. Have, your friend or your wife or your husband or whoever it is that you're waiting in line with, go and collect some of those coins in the boxes with both of your slap bracelets. Yeah, I know it's a little bit more strategic, but hey, we're trying to win here, right? So just in case you're a little bit more competitive like me and my wife are, try to collect as many coins as you possibly can and set yourself up for success at this wonderful Mario Kart first race. So what's really cool about this Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge is that it's not only one of the best places to collect a vast amount of coins, if you can be the highest scoring person within your car, and also if you can hit all of Bowser and his henchmen, you'll collect so many different coins. So, and also if you're able to do it correctly, if you're going around a corner and they show your left or right arrow, make sure you go into that turn until you stop collecting coins from that specific arrow, because it's another way to maximize your coinage throughout the entire day. Also too, there's 2 lines that you enter the Mario Kart Challenge, and there's Team Bowser and Team Mario. Don't let that confuse you. Everyone is Team Mario. So you're wanting to face and hit Bowser and his henchmen with the turtle shells, not Mario, not Princess, not Toad. So that was a little confusing at first, but like, it wasn't really well explained, but it was something that we learned on our second time going through this. This is also a great way to collect coins. So when we did it the first time, it's not that hard to get over 100 coins, but the second time I was able to almost double that. So if you're doing a really good job and you know how to play this, you can get a lot of coins here. You can also unlock some of the different stamps as well, which are really cool from more of a completionist type of perspective, which you guys all know I am. So also a few other things is don't just shoot your turtle shells willy-nilly. You only get so much of those, and you only get a revamped stock of those every once in a while. So make sure that you're using them strategically throughout. And then also there's a lot of places where you can get and collect the keys in order to face off against Bowser Jr. Here's a prime example. For this minigame, you're just going to want to crank it as much as you can and even go through to the advanced stage as well. Here you can see that I'm tapping one of the Mario placards so I can unlock a retro version of Luigi. So freaking cool. So make sure that as you're going through the entire land, that you're walking into every single door, you're hitting every single coin box, every single brick with your slap bracelet, and making sure you're also just taking it in and having a great time like we did here. There's going to be a few other areas where you can go in and hit and unlock the quote-unquote secret retro character. So there's one for each of them. So go into every single room, make sure you're playing the games to their full potential. Here is another mini game where you can unlock a key. Here, my wife, you want to hit it when the turtle shell right before it goes into the pipe, so you can hit the POW, destroy the other Koopa, and guess what? Collect your key. So you can do this as many times as you want, you just have to wait in line. So eventually, after collecting 3 keys, you're able to go through and face off against Bowser Jr. Now, not only is this super cool because it's just a great experience, even waiting in line. I think what Super Nintendo World did a great job of. Here we are meeting Toad, who is an awesome character. The characters only come out every once in a while, by the way. But it's a great opportunity to collect coins and also just face off against Bowser Jr. and collect a whole lot of coins there. Now here is the Toadstool Cafe. So again, when we finally were able to eat after a very long day already, this is such a great experience. It did take kind of a long time to order everything. I mean, you have to have a little bit of patience because you're waiting for families, you're waiting for big groups. It took us about 45 to 50 minutes all in all, just from ordering in order to actually get our food. So depending on how busy they were, I'm assuming today, on the day that we went, it was a little bit busier than they usually are. It may take a little bit, a long time to get your food. So if it does, just make sure you have a snack beforehand. And here is the food. The Luigi burger, the Bowser's Firely Challenge, the tiramisu, the salad, and then also too the ribeye portion. Now, out of all these, the tiramisu is actually pretty good. We would suggest getting it, and honestly, we would suggest getting all these just to try them out and experience it. But probably out of all those, the burgers were the best, and then also the salad and the meatball. So the Bowser's challenge, spicy meatball. Now the ribeye plate was not that good. Maybe it was because we got a cold dish, but it wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be. So just, pro tip on that, the things that are good and not good. So here we are waiting to go in again so to ride one of the rides. These are so much fun. Just looking around, you can see that they borrowed a lot of the graphic and creative styles from Super Mario Land 2, Yoshi's Island, or Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Can't believe I said that. And just if you ever played this game, you know that it was all based upon this very almost cartoon / kid drawing type of artistic and visual execution, and it just takes you back. The whole world is meant to just really put you in a great retro gaming type of vibe. So it did not disappoint there. So another pro tip really quick as we're going through this, as you're going through the gift stores, just make sure and realize that you don't need to buy everything all at once. You can go and buy it later. They're not going to run out. You can see the 2 biggest things I bought were the sweatshirt and also this Super Nintendo World sign. And I was a little worried at first because there's only a few signs left in the actual Nintendo store when we were in the 1-Up store when we were in there. But, we came back later and they had completely restocked or refilled. So Don't worry about buying things as soon as you get in there. You can always wait to either collect them at, the store within Super Nintendo World or on the store in Universal Hollywood Studios when you leave it. There are so many different opportunities to buy. You don't want to have to carry all this stuff around with you all day, unless you want to wear it. Unless you want to wear a shirt or you want to, have that be part of your experience, you totally can. But just to save you some hassle with having to lug things around all day, I would suggest not buying those until later. The other last pro tip that we'll give as well is as you're going through this entire experience, make sure that you're drinking enough water. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Let's make sure you're staying healthy out there. You're able to get food in. Hopefully not as sparingly as we did. Eat a snack beforehand. If we're able to sneak in a few like granola bars or something, I can't remember if Disney or if Universal, I almost said Disney. I can't remember if Universal Studios Hollywood allows you to bring in snacks, but just try to make sure you're having some kind of like healthy or at least somewhat balanced kind of snack before you go in. So you're not just going in there completely starved after a long day. So like we were. So all in all, those are all the different pro tips that we'd want to share and give to you today. But of course, if we missed out on anything or you have any questions, make sure to comment below. Also, let us know what part of this adventure you liked seeing or what you would like to see more of in the future. We're happy to look into it and also provide potentially future videos in the future. So with that, we hope you enjoyed our take on our adventure throughout Super Nintendo World. It was an absolute blast for us, obviously, to visit this place and share this experience with you today. If you're new to the channel, you've not seen our videos before, make sure to subscribe to Chicago Retro Gamer. Also like and ring the bell for future notifications. And with that, always remember, damn, it feels good to be a gamer. We'll see you guys next video. Bye.